8/19/2021, 6:28 a.m. It's been at the screen about an hour, and haven't had any trades yet. We've continued to sell off, and we sold way past expectation for a reaction here into the 64 round number. We've come all the way down to this low volume node here. So next stop, we would expect to see some kind of test of these lows, but I would expect a reaction here somewhat to come back up and some kind of retest of yesterday's range, as well as the lower side of value. That's possible if we don't move lower, but also nothing to say that we can't move lower. But I have tried a couple of long tries here, especially after this. We've had buying out of this 62.60s lows, and being that we've already tested up into the 63.38, my expectation was, especially after this failure here, I tried to get long here, never got a pullback, and then after this push here and failure of the 63 round number, I tried to get in here again at about 05, 06, 07, anywhere in here. I was trying to get in. This one was slightly more risky because of it had just come from a high tick, but with the expectation that we were going to break this value and move higher. And then there's quite a bit of the areas of liquidity where we could flush up into, probably into this 63.80 would have been my short term, or my target around there, which is 60 ticks above. So at least to flush this 38 probably into the 50. That's where I would be looking to manage it. So I'm going to be watching this area now of a test back into the upper side of value here. You can see denoted by this low volume node. I want to see if we can come back down. Either we test into this and then come back up and hold the value from above, or we're going to fail back down. And if we can come back down here, get a nice supply push, and then test the upper side of this range here, then I'll be looking to again trade back into the lower side here. But I don't have any real conviction as far as direction goes, but I am leaning more so towards the long side for now. Taking a long here off of the test down into this volume, and I'm going to see if we can hold this level here, the volume here that we can see that came in here right off the open. And we pushed up all the way into this 26, and I'll be looking to take this off through this opening high, the 39, so up into that, probably that round number, that 50 area, and see if we can take this out into this low volume node here. But I mean, really, we could see all of this, a lot of this liquidity flush above. So as usual, any push above the 32, I'll be looking to manage that and lock in 20. We can see we pushed up right up into these bar highs here, and we're seeing some selling coming in here now. And that is a pretty strong selling push here. But I'm going to hold this and see if we can hold out for the break of these highs. Didn't like that high ticked and now it's selling off, but we'll see what happens. I just got taken out break even. Unfortunate, all the way up to 29, so nice 100 or 17 tick equity trade. But after this high tick, that would have been, that's my de-risk anyway. But the volatility of the opening print, I'm not going to mess around with that too much, because if we're back here to this volume, I would definitely expect to see a revisit to this volume below, and then probably a test at least to the 63. I don't know if you want to call that unlucky, but I call that pretty dang unlucky on coming back exactly to the tick of my entry at 12 and reversing and now taking out this high. So 35, that would have been a break above this area, would have been my area where I would lock in 20 here. probably I would wait for a test of these highs at 39 to lock in the 20. But yeah, that's frustrating. I mean, man, talk about close. There's that test of the high. So from a 20 tick winner to a break even for nothing. But and there's my like 36, 37, 38 tick target right there, hit at that 50 round number. So took another long trade here off of the 39 when we pushed above this structure here, and on this push up I de-risked and went to break even to 48. So I had about 10 ticks of equity on that one, and then came back down and took me out at 37, and then went to my 30 target was at 70. So 32 ticks again. So that's about 70 ticks of trades that I missed, and I'm sitting at break even now, unfortunately. So that's how it goes. So it's just super volatile. So I'm trying to get risk off, but a balance of giving it enough room to work out. So it's a tough situation for me today. I am long here off the 50 with a fairly wide stop at 15 down below the lows. So we're going to go all the way up through the 72 to the round number. And we'll see if we can bust it out. My third try again, trying not to get shaken out on this thing. And taking it out again, and just couldn't take the heat, man. I mean, on these volatile swings, it's just crazy. And now it's just spiking down. And all the way down here to take a full 15 tick stop on that. So I took this long here and on the push above this range, and then immediately smashed down and took me out like a sucker. So that's exactly what was expected when you have the longs piling in above this push, like the breakout look, and then just a slam down. So all the longs that came in here, like me, and were immediately just smashed out at this. I took an 18 tick loss on that. Happened in about, let's see, less than a minute. I was in that trade for less than a minute before it went wrong. So, and then here we are on the short try, on the concept of, we came up and couldn't move higher, imbalanced down, this last gasp push up, and then here we are down to this 21 area, which would be the expectation to revisit this area. So we're going to try along here, see if we can move back up through the 63 round number of this failure here coming into previous demand. Missed the long trade down here that Kelly took, I think, at 52 or so. So we'll see if we can get a little something going here. We definitely need a push here. I don't like really so much being below this volume, but I think I was a little early on the trade. So if I do manage to pull this one off, I feel like it'll be slightly lucky. And now the tendency for me is to go to break even too early on any kind of push above this 87 here. But I'm going to hold this and hope that we can get above this. We do have a little bit of an issue with this volume here and coming into this supply. So that's a loss. Another loss. Nice. 13 tick loss on that one. Came up here, really didn't push above the zone at all. So that's a 13 tick loss on that one, putting me at way down on the day. Having a pretty terrible go of it today. Down 44 ticks, getting real close to my loss limit. So this will be my last trade. Either way, I would say I am long down 60. We had this failure of this volume in this internal low tick, and I've just been getting chopped up, and definitely traded right into this absorption here trying to get long into this is a big no-no, I think. I mean, this is all weak now. All this is tested up to the 63 round number. This is where I'm going to try to take that off into the 63. But, looking to lock in 20 as usual. With being down so much, it's hard not to just hold it for the big trade, but don't want to give up a 20 tick equity trade either. But this needs to go above here and hold from above, and we can see definitely some volume coming in, so there may be still definitely maybe sellers here, but I'm going to hold it, being that feeling like we are going to fill in some of the space up into the point of control and get back up into this. And this is a fairly major pivot here as well. I see this is at this 63 round number, so see if we can get up there, but it's looking pretty good so far. Need this to hold here, this volume here, the 77, but it's looking like it's going to, and let's see if we can run some of these, run this high up here. And I could definitely see this all the way up into the 63.33, which is a fairly significant pivot area as well. But I very much doubt that I will be holding it through the round number, because we are likely to see a reaction there, and we'll also have quite a bit of vertical space to fill back in. So I don't see that would be too realistic for me to hold through that kind of pullback. I'm going to go ahead and lock in 20 here on that push up. And so we have at least 20 locked in. See if we can run this all the way up through the round number. At 62.99 will be my target. And see if we can get that up into this volume here. We also have a little bit of size, 83 contracts on the dome there, but not nothing too crazy. There's 104 contracts up at the 63.30. So I think we have quite a few shorts trapped here now. So I'm going to lock in 30 ticks here. So I've got 30 locked in. See if we can get up into this. That's 40 ticks. Or 39, I should say, I think we got on that trade. So very frustrating day. I'm not trying to whine and be a complainer, but I feel like I was so close on the trades in the morning. Had about 70 ticks in positive equity. Well, not positive equity, but positive equity trades and break evens. But then they also went to my targets. So just got to, stay positive, continue to work on my game, and I will get there eventually. But it's hard not to get frustrated sometimes. This trade really killed me. This one was really frustrating. I felt like I really was a sucker on this one. Just terrible. But, still working on it, still learning, still in process. I'm super happy to take that trade off at the round number here, but I could definitely see this. So what I was talking about was into this, filling in this space at the 63.33. So 32, that would have been a really cool trade to have that one come off, but I think that's going to do it for me. And we've traded back up to the point of control here, which is also an area that I don't really want to be trading in. So definitely a very large balance profile now, and we've taken out this low here, and now we're just kind of in this squatty balanced profile. So feel like I feel good because I was resilient enough to come back and trade past these 3 losses here, and these are terrible losses. 18, 13, 13. My losses are way too big. I got in this 55 long. That was the one I was talking about earlier, and had a real wide stop on that. Should have been around 40 or 41 on that one, and it just moved so quick that got away from me a little bit. But so overall I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades overall. So feel like I slightly over traded a little bit rather than waiting for the opportunities, and and should have been a little bit more patient than I was. This one kind of, like I said, I keep talking about it, but this one put me on tilt a little bit. So it's all right though. We'll get them tomorrow.